Hello food fans and welcome to a very important video. I've recently saw Junks' video on mental health and anxiety and where he told his story, and he asked other YouTubers to tell their stories at the end of the video. So, as a big supporter of Junks and a person that suffers from anxiety myself, I have to do this no matter how hard it is for me. He made that video to help people talk about their issues with mental health and stop the silence. So definitely go check his out, because there will be a link in the description just after you've heard my story. I've always suffered from a form of anxiety, especially when I went to new places. I always felt like there was a pit in my stomach, nervous. Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Am I going? I don't know. And this pit filled my stomach, so much so that I just wanted to run away. Now, as a child, I never did, because I figured I'd get into more trouble, and I just sat there, just soaking it up. But eventually I grew up and knew that this was my responsibility. Eventually I moved to Sweden with Hannah, which, believe it or not, there was a bit of anxiety about it, but I didn't really take seriously the big change that was going to happen. I understood the problems I was going to face, but I didn't really take note of it, take it seriously. So I managed to move to Sweden, but that's when my anxiety really hit hard. I realized quite quickly I didn't understand any Swedish, which I knew before was going in, but it was that made me want to run away. I love Sweden, don't get me wrong. Sweden is a beautiful country and with some really nice people, and I like the way they do things, but it was difficult. It was a brand new place for me to be, where I had to find my new identity. So the big problem I had was school, going back to school, because I was sick of school by the time I moved to Sweden, but I had to go because I had to learn Swedish. And I was put with a group with other immigrants, but a lot more asylum seekers and people from that sort of background, not so many from other parts of Europe, which is fine. They have a much worse life than me, but I couldn't connect with them very well. They have very different ideas of the way the world works and should work, and I couldn't really connect and make friends, so anxiety started to build inside of me until it kind of overwhelmed, where I just didn't want, I couldn't go to school. I would have these panic attacks when it come to going to school. The pit in my stomach got just so bad, and I was breathing really heavily. I felt like there was someone sitting on my chest. I couldn't control my breath, and it was for nothing really, because the people at school wasn't attacking me. I may have felt like all their eyes were on me, But that wasn't true. They had their own problems and shit. They didn't care about the English kid sitting in the corner. So it was really difficult for me, but I tried my hardest to get through it, and I managed to get through the ground, the basic SFE, so Swedish for immigrants, and then moved up to the next class, but that took me a lot longer than it takes most people. But then when I moved up to the higher class, and the Swedish got much more difficult, and even though the teacher I knew personally in the real world, as I called it, she was a neighbour of my mother-in-law's, that made things a bit more difficult, because I felt like if I was letting her down, I was letting her down, ignoring the fact she was just a teacher, it's just a job. But again, it's the way I felt, not reality, the way I felt. And I just, the anxiety overflowed. I had to run away. I was continuously going to the bathroom just to get out of the classroom, trying to psych myself up to fight instead of flight, instead of running away. But usually I lost that battle. Usually I'd say I had a migraine and I would run away. That wasn't a complete lie, because with the anxiety and the pit in my stomach and the heavy breathing, I was giving myself a pretty bad headache from the stress of it all. But that wasn't really the reason I wanted to get out of there. The real reason was the anxiety overflowing, and then I felt like I failed because I ran away, and that made everything so much worse. But to those who listen to this, that's not true. If you do run away, that's just... it's okay. That's one trip. You just have to focus on the next day and push through it. As I said, I'm sorry, this is very difficult for me. But school wasn't really for me. I was getting to the point where I was more anxious, so I wasn't going to learn any Swedish that way. Then I went to a job seekers thing, the government were looking for job work sort of thing, and they put me in with this place where I met a great woman that actually listened to me and tried to help me, and she put me on the track of mindfulness. That helped a bit, but also with Hannah falling pregnant, that's really helped me a lot, because now it's no longer about me. I can't let it be about me. If I do that, then I fail as a father, and I can't fail as a father. That is my biggest fear in life. I didn't have the best father growing up, and I really pride myself on trying to be a completely different man to him. Yes, there are some aspects of my personality I get from him that I recognize I get from him, but I need to be a good father, because if I'm not, then I'm going to fall into a pit. So I need to put all my focus onto him, and it seems to work for me. I'm not going to my job placement thing like a work experience. Basically, I'm working there for free, but I'm building up my hours to try and see what I can do. So I'm not doing that for me or even Hannah. I'm doing it for William. And every time my anxiety starts to build, I focus on him. I feel really bad because I do miss days. But it's not mostly because of my anxiety, it's mostly because of my hip, and I feel terrible. Because I feel like I'm failing him. And that's not true. I know this. He's not even born yet. But that's the power that I have focusing on him. And obviously this isn't for everyone, because trying to just find a partner, get a baby, just to get over your mental issues is not a good idea. But this is what's helping me. I'm going to do the whole cliche now where I'm not sure if I'm going to post this because I seem to be rambling and I'm opening up. Some of these feelings I've had bottled inside of me for a while, but that's the point of these videos, to talk about things. And if there's anyone out there suffering from anxiety or any issues whatsoever, there's my Facebook down below, there's my Twitter down below. Just send me a personal message. You can do it on YouTube as well. Even if you don't know me, I'll be... Even if you watch all my videos, I'm practically a stranger to you. So just see it as a way of opening up and letting someone know. This is a really hard video to make. Probably one of the hardest I ever have, even more so than my first. But it's important because people need to open up. So yes, I encourage you all to make your own video with your own experiences with anxiety or any other mental illness you have, and break the silence. This is where I usually want to say I hope you enjoyed this, but if you did, you're a bit of a monster, really, aren't you? So I hope this helped. There's a better way of putting it. I hope this helps you. And if it has, please like, share and subscribe. I am the Food. Thank you for watching.